Welcome to Explore Brockport, where we take you to interesting places and locations around the village. My name's Anthony Arnaud, and I'll be your local expert for today. And with me is...
John Bonzik, owner of Liftbridge Bookshop, co-owner of Liftbridge Bookshop.
Who's your partner at Liftbridge?
My wife, Sarah. She essentially runs the place. Mm-hmm. She actually is the majority shareholder, and we could be a woman-owned business, but it's a lot of paperwork and very, very difficult.
Awesome. So how did you get started at Liftbridge? How did you become an owner?
I originally worked here in college. The previous owners were looking to sell the place, and one of my friends who used to work here said, "Hey, let's go listen to him." Mm-hmm. And, things ended up working out, and he and I bought the business from the previous owners.
You mentioned that you and your wife, Sarah, were alumni at Brockport. Did you ever think you would own your own business, let alone the bookstore that you were working at the time?
Never in a million years. The allure of owning my own business wasn't necessarily there. Mm-hmm. It was an opportunity, and I guess I'm a little less risk averse than I thought.
How does a bookstore decide what books it's going to shelve and pick them out kind of ahead of time?
We use a lot of past sales data. That used to be pretty reliable, and this weird COVID thing happened and threw that book, pun intended, out the window. But mainly it's what do I like and what do I think is interesting. All of our employees seem to be on the same page where we don't need to agree with what we have in the store to have it in the store. Mm-hmm. So we try and all be very open-minded people, and that seems to work.
How important is community to you guys and at Liftbridge?
Community is everything. Without the community, we're not here. And we've developed a lot of really good relationships. Customers aren't just our customers. We consider them our friends. Mm-hmm. And we do just about anything for them.
How do big corporations like Amazon and to another degree, a store like Barnes & Noble affect a small local bookstore like you guys here?
Their size obviously can take away customers from us, but our community is what keeps us here. That's what people want. They want to have a place to come and be social and be part of something. That's why they come in. They want to talk to us. They want to have help picking something out. So without the community, we're nothing. We don't exist.
You mentioned the COVID-19 pandemic kind of threw a wrench in how you guys shelve your books. How did that affect your store in general? I know a lot of local businesses struggled during that time, and it's still kind of affecting everyone today, obviously.
Well, it changed our complete business model because everything was online. So we were extremely lucky that people still wanted to support us. So we had tons of online sales that we were delivering locally. People were picking up at the door. We were shipping like crazy. My wife and I were here every day during the pandemic. There was not a day that we were not here doing something, shipping something out. It definitely modified that we were getting what people wanted specifically, as opposed to the allure of an independent bookshop, which is coming in and discovering something. Mm-hmm.
It's nice to see a fixture of the community stick through kind of just everything.
It's not easy. I think that's part of the misconception is that we'll always be here, but you can't take us for granted.
What trends are you seeing in the book world nowadays as far as genres that are getting more popular, kind of rising and falling over the last few years?
Genre-specific things have been getting a lot more popular. Bridgerton, things that get on Netflix. Manga is huge, but that's mainly because kids are watching it on Netflix. Colleen Hoover is huge, but that's because of BookTok. So BookTok is a very large influencer. True crime is really popular. These little niche things that weren't necessarily well written before are getting a lot more attention. The largest influencer is definitely BookTok, though.
With new media on the rise and shows and movies coming out on books, do you think that takes away from the classic literature that inspired them, or do you find more people are reading that because of the shows and media?
I definitely think that people read more. They want to expand the story. They want to expand their knowledge. They want to find more, especially when they find out, this was a book? Great. I want to read that because I loved that. I want to know more. So I definitely think that it's increased reading. It definitely can make it less daunting because we're all stressed and busy and have tons of things to do. And if you already know the story, it's kind of more comforting. It adds to your experience as opposed to detracting or making it feel like a barrier.
Speaking of comforting, with the holiday season approaching, do you have any recommendations for people that might be looking to get gifts for family members or loved ones?
My personal favorite at the moment is Nona the Ninth, which is in science fiction fantasy. It's the third in a series. So it's, I guess you'd have to start at the beginning with Gideon the Ninth. But right now, that's probably my favorite series and my favorite books that are out there. And probably my favorite picture book that is out right now is A Little Toy Maker. It's just beautifully illustrated, great, message without being preachy, and it really hopefully would connect with a lot of people.
Thanks for sitting down with me today. Come make sure to check out Liftbridge Bookshop at 45 Main Street.